Hello, my name is Beck and welcome to a no disclaimers book tag. I haven't done this in a while, so I thought I'd revisit it. So the first question on this tag is, what is a trope that annoys you the most? And I have done a video of tropes that I hate, so I have a fair few, but one of the ones that really just annoys me the most is going to be miscommunication, because I hate it when characters don't communicate to each other and that is what makes the plot happen, them not knowing about a certain thing. It makes plots more strong to me if there's like a reinforced effort towards the bad thing, and if these characters don't communicate that, how is that going to occur? So I hate miscommunication. I think it undermines the plot. I also hate love triangles. I don't find them interesting at all unless they're done very, very well, and I will be very, very picky. So love triangles and miscommunication are two of the main ones. So if those can be avoided, then I'm a happy person. Question number 2 is, what is an author/writer that you think is overhyped? And I'm gonna have to go maybe with the same answer that I went for my previous video, and that is V.E. Schwab. While I enjoy a lot of her work and she wrote one of my favorite books, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I found some of her stuff to just be enjoyable rather than incredible, and I really wish that I connected more to her Steel Prince comic, and that takes place before the A Darker Shade of Magic fantasy books that she wrote. I do enjoy her stuff, but I think people just hold her on a pedestal for certain things, so I think she's an awesome author, but I don't necessarily get the hype that goes along with her. And then also I want to talk about Seanan McGuire, because that author has a lot of hype as well. And I've read a few books by her, and then I've read her novella series, and I've just enjoyed her stuff or not enjoyed it at all. It's been very clearly down the line for me. And so hopefully the next book in the Wayward Children series is really good, because ideally that would reinstate my love of Seanan McGuire. But I find that author very hyped as well. So I guess those are another two, and I should probably just stick with giving one answer per question, but apparently we're 2 for 2. Question number 3 is, what are your least favourite books that you have read since joining BookTube? And I would have to say a recent 2 that I've read and not enjoyed are The 22 Murders of Madison May, and then also the one by Sylvain Neuvel. The title always escaped me and I don't know why, but those two, I'll put the covers on the screen. Those two are definitely 2 that I have not enjoyed at all, and I've given them both 2 stars. And then additionally, I had The Wheel of Time hyped up to me, and I've just finished The Great Hunt, which is the second book, and I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars after giving the first book 4 stars. So that really went on a nosedive for me. So those are really disappointing books that I've read since joining BookTube. And I first got into Sylvain Neuvel for his Sleeping Giants series, and that was a series of sci-fi first contact with aliens kind of stories that I listened to on audiobook and adored, because they're all told in like an interview kind of format, and so you get an individual character's voice done by a different narrator, so it feels well-rounded. So I love those so much, and I read those just before I joined BookTube, and I got them as a BookTube recommendation. So to see now that he's written another series that is sci-fi focused, and I don't enjoy it at all, I'm very disappointed. So I'm just going to move on. Question number 4 is a terrible ending that ruined an almost quality book, and I'm going to go with Dark Dawn by Jay Kristoff. I loved the first 2 books in this series. I really didn't like the ending, and I really didn't like all of the promises that Jay Kristoff made throughout the books, and then they didn't really hold up in the 3rd book. So I'm really disappointed in Dark Dawn. After loving the first 2 so much, I gave Dark Dawn I think a 3, but I might end up giving it a 2. The more I think about it, the more grumpy I get, so it really depends on what day you ask me. Question number 5 is, what fictional characters do you wish were not killed off? How can I answer this question without spoiling anything? I don't think I've read anything recently that's had like a major character death, or a character death that has just felt quite a betrayal. I think everything has been not deserved, but at least set up enough for me to go, okay, I can buy that, I believe that, that's really sad. So I don't think anything lately has come up. There was a character death in The Great Hunt, and when it happened, I was like, that's stupid, because it wasn't really foreshadowed very well, and I just found it very lackluster. So I guess that's a character death that I thought was a bit ridiculous, but there's no character death so far that I've experienced in my recent reads that I've gone, that should not have happened. I hate this author for doing that, but I love this story. It's not been that kind of vibe, and I really wish I read more 5 stars this year. Disappointed in myself. Question number 6 is, name some of your bookish pet peeves. And I hate it when the chapters of a book are really long, because then it feels like I have taken years and years to read it. I like short chapters, and I like characters that feel different. So if you've got a multiple perspective book, vary your characters' voices so that I can actually tell the difference between them when I'm reading, because if I struggle to concentrate and if I struggle to connect to a character's voice and everything kind of sounds the same even though you've got multiple characters, then it makes it not as enjoyable to me, and I'll often either DNF it or just not continue. And I did that with Anthony Ryan's books because I didn't really love his stuff. It just didn't hit right for me. So when he wrote his Bloodsong book, and that was just from Valen's perspective, I was like, yes, this is great. And then he split off later and did a whole bunch of multiple perspective stuff, and all of the characters' voices sound the same to me, so I don't really like those very much. And then question number 7 is books that you feel should have more recognition, and for this one I'm going with The Book of the Unnamed Midwife. Yes, it has a massive pandemic that wipes out a ton of people and there's a very small survival rate, so it might not be great to read during a pandemic, but I read it before COVID and I adored it, and I think if I read it now I'd like it anyway. This has a bisexual protagonist. She's a midwife and she has to survive this plague basically by herself, and whenever she comes across another woman she helps them out because women don't survive as often or as frequently as men, and so it's a very nasty, cutthroat, male dominated world, and so she's like, if I can help women wherever I can, then that would be a great thing. So it's dark and it's introspective, and I love how we get this character's diary entries, but we also get described what is happening to them. I found it very interesting and very well developed. So if you're wanting an apocalyptic book that feels a little bit different and has its own very nice, good flavor, I think you'll really like this, and I hype it up whenever I can. And then question number 8. Question number 9 is tag whoever you like, so I'm not going to really count it. But question number 8 is, what is your thoughts on censorship and banning books? And I understand the concept of not letting younger readers read more mature, adult, or potentially nightmare fuel stuff. That makes sense to me. But when it comes to banning an entire book because of a religion or a way of thought, or because it's got particular ideas that you're not comfortable with, then I don't like that, because you need to take on other people's ideas and understand a different dialogue in order to make your own thought processes about those things. And I found that a lot of the things that I've read, especially with queer literature, because I didn't have that when I was growing up, I found that a lot of those novels really gave me a dialogue to discuss those issues and really connect with themes. And so if you don't have that, then you don't have the capacity to discuss it. And so why ban it when you can start a conversation? Unless you don't want the conversation to start. I guess maybe that's the point. But anyway, I don't like banned books. That's really the general gist. And that is the end of this book tag. So thank you so much for watching this video. Come and let me know a 5-star read for you, because I am severely lacking on those. But thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.